God, and this is the craziest part. This is the craziest part. As for Sarah, she's in jail.
What?
What? She waited for another resident to open the gate, ducked behind their car, and tried to sneak in. Cuckoo bananas! You better not be acting like that, okay? That is abusive. That is insane. You cannot say like that to your child. That is just so cute. That is just so nice. I love trans people. I really do. Wow, you guys should date. You guys should Hey, yo. Am I the telling my trans friend she needs to disclose that she's trans to a man she's seeing? Okay. This is a hot topic. Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. Welcome back to another installment of Samantha Reacts to Reddit Posts. I don't know what we're gonna call this, but I had a lot of fun with the last one and you guys seem to really enjoy it. So I'm back today with more Am I the Asshole posts off of Reddit, and we're gonna read them together. I did find mostly trans related questions, but a lot of these are like cis people asking questions about trans people to see if they're the asshole. And honestly, sometimes, yes, you are the asshole, and other times, no, I don't think you are. So we have a lot of stories to read today, so I figured we can get right into it. But before we do that, I want to let you guys know that I am now a Twitch streamer. Yes, I am. I stream over on Twitch 3 times a week, so make sure to follow me over on Twitch and come hang out with me whenever I'm live. Or if you guys don't have Twitch, I also upload all of the VODs. That's like the recordings of the live streams. If you don't know Twitch lingo, I upload all of those to a separate YouTube channel as well, and that will be linked down below as well. So yeah, as for my YouTube channel though, I post new videos every single week. So if you guys are not yet subscribed and you would like to be, go ahead and do that right now. Go ahead. I'll give you some nail tapping while I wait. New nails. I did them on stream. You missed it. My tan line. Are you done? Thank you very much. And yeah, with no further ado, let's get right into the first one. I want to find a good one for the first one. Let's see. Let's start with this one. This one's honestly so freaking crazy. It's a two-parter, my guys. So the first title is, Am I the asshole for not kicking out my roommate just because my girlfriend thinks he might be trans? Okay, first impressions, put them in the chat. First impressions chat, put them in the comments down below. Off the title alone, not the asshole, but that's first impressions. Let's keep reading. I, 22 male, have a roommate. Let's call him Alex, male 23, who moved in about 6 months ago. I honestly never considered Alex maybe trans, not that I would care if he was, but that's not the issue. He's a short guy and probably under 165 centimeters, 5'5", has a lot of facial hair, muscles, and looks like a short Henry Cavill in my opinion. Oh, so he's trans. He's a transy. I've clocked him already. It's different when I do it though. You know, trans to trans clocking is totally acceptable in my opinion, because, you know, we know the code, right? If you see another doll in person, you never say, oh my God, I'm trans too. You just kind of like a slight glance and then you move on. You just move on. That's the code. Anyways, no one I know has ever brought up this idea before. I've had friends and family at our apartment before. This is really the part that gets to me because my mom is extremely against gay people. And if she sensed anything was up, she would have caused problems right away. Sounds like a lovely lady. Alex and I get along. We're polite, but not really friends. He's quiet, but super polite, always pays rent on time, helps with chores, and even shares his cooking with me. I appreciate having him around, especially because my last 3 roommates were each their own horror story. Okay, sounds good so far. So far, I love our trans boy Alex. Me calling him a trans boy Alex. I don't know if he's trans. I hope he is, because we love the transies. But the issue came up when my girlfriend, let's call her Sarah, female 28, came over one day. Alex was shirtless. To clarify, I forgot to tell Alex that she was coming over and she noticed the scars on his chest. After that, she was quiet and short with me her entire stay there. When she got home, she blew up my phone, asking why I had a quote unquote female living with me. I was confused and asked what she was on about. What are you on about, girl? That is so funny. She says that she knows that his scars are from top surgery and that he is so... She knows that his scars are from top surgery and that he is short, so he has to be trans and born female. Those are the indications, yeah. Honestly, she clocked him. Clocked, honey, sorry. We all get clocked at one point in our lives, or multiple points in our lives. For me, never, but it happens, you know, it happens. I tried to explain that even if Alex is trans or quote unquote born female, that there's no way I'd be attracted to him because to any person who looked at him, you would see a freaking guy. Plus, he's respectful and doesn't cause drama like my last roommates, which she knows about. Okay, so he sounds cool. He sounds like he doesn't really care. He sounds like he's not at all on his girlfriend's side, obviously. I mean, I think this post is about his girlfriend, but he's like, even if he is trans, what do I care? He pays the rent. He's clean. I don't mind. Number 1 ally. He sounds like a great man. Just to be clear, I honestly still have no idea if Alex is even trans. I Googled it and those scars could be from other surgery, like heart surgery or gynecomastia. And I really don't have an argument for him being short, but there's a lot of short men. Not them trying to like determine whether or not he's trans. You already determined that it doesn't matter, so it's, anyways. At first, Sarah wanted me to just ask Alex if he was trans, which, why the would I do that? Or give her his last name so she can run a background check. I said no to both. She seems a bit crazy. I must say, it's not even her roommate. Anyways, where is this coming from, ma'am? We're gonna keep going. I'm pretty sure she's worried that her boyfriend's attracted to this trans guy. I don't know, she's got her own issues though. Then she said, this was a violation of trust, and then if I didn't either find out if Alex is trans and kick him out, or just kick him out, that she would have to quote unquote reevaluate things. Girl, reevaluate all you'd like. That's my roommate, that's my bestie. Basically threatening to break up. I said I don't do ultimatums and that we're done. Oh, okay, well, there you go. Problem solved. Since then, she's been messaging me. I mean, good for him. Okay, like I said, this story gets so much crazier. Like there's a part 2 to this whole entire story, but I want to quickly say, good for him, right? That is what being an ally is. His roommate was trans. If he wasn't trans, it doesn't matter because the transness is irrelevant to the situation. They're just roommates, right? If he pays his rent on time, he's clean, he's respectful. I don't understand why, even if he was a trans man, why it would be an issue. So yeah, W Poster, you're an ally. I appreciate you. But then it says, since then, she's been messaging me every single day for over 2 weeks, even after I blocked her on everything because she wouldn't leave me alone. Pissed that I wouldn't do this small thing for her. Kicking out your roommate is not a small ask, by the way. She ranges from, are you
What?
She ranges from, are you him? Let's just talk. Why can't you at least give me closure and ask him? That is so funny. Honestly, that is so funny. The closure isn't even about the relationship. I need closure. Is he trans or not? It's driving me crazy. To the most recent, her telling our mutual friend about the situation. Our friend wants nothing a part of the show. W friend. This next paragraph I'm like a little iffy about, so let me read it. It says, I didn't feel bad at first, but after talking about it online, I've had some people say I should have just asked my roommate if he was indeed trans just to keep the peace. Pause. That does not keep the peace, babe. That might keep the peace between you and your crazy girlfriend, but it does not keep the peace within your living situation. You know what I mean? If this man wanted to tell you that he was trans, if he was comfortable telling you that he was trans, he likely would have done so already. He does not think it's your business. And so asking him, coming out and being like, I need to know this information about you, like, even though you haven't, offered it up to me, I need to know. It's invasive and it will ruin the peace of the roommate relationship. At least if that was me, you know what I mean? Like, personally, I am very open with my identity, so like my roommates would probably know, but a lot of people aren't open like that. A lot of people don't really want to talk about it like that. So if it's not causing any sort of issue within your roommate dynamic, then drop it. I've had some people say I should have just asked my roommate if he was trans just to keep the peace, or that I shouldn't have essentially picked my roommate who I've only had for about 6 months over my girlfriend of 5 years. I wonder if I'm being unreasonable. I legitimately do not see how any straight dude could find Alex attractive, personally, but maybe I should have done something to keep the peace. You're being gaslit. Gaslighting, ding, 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 ding. No, sir. I do understand the whole, like, you should prioritize your romantic relationships over your roommate relationship. I can understand that. I can get behind that. But his girlfriend's cuckoo. His girlfriend's cuckoo bananas. I'm sorry. I'm also a cuckoo girlfriend. I would know. I'm not really. I've redeemed myself. But demanding that you find out if your roommate is trans and then kick him out if he is, that's not normal behavior. That is extreme transphobia. And like, to me, obviously to me, but like, I feel like if you're a decent person, extreme transphobia and honestly just like unreasonableness should be a deal breaker in a relationship. Too long didn't read. My now ex-girlfriend thinks that my roommate is trans, told me to find out for sure or kick him out. I refused to and broke up with her. Am I the asshole? No. She's the asshole. She's the freaking asshole. Trans boy is the victim. You are a sucker. I'm kidding. I didn't know what to say. I just said sucker for no reason. I don't know. I wasn't kidding. There is a part 2 to this. Wait, it's still going. People were like asking questions. Somebody apparently commented and said, why would you want to be with somebody like that? And he replied, I don't. I really don't. I didn't realize it was transphobia until some people here talked to me about it. I thought it was just her being jealous, but now I get how f***ed up it is. Please understand, I live in the Bible Belt. I didn't even know trans people existed until I was 16. My personal thoughts is that I don't see a problem with people being trans and transitioning. I think at the end of the day, it isn't my business. Period. Exactly. Very, very valid point and very, reasonable opinion to hold. And I'm glad that he figured out that this was just straight up transphobia. I mean, it's transphobia, but it's also her just being cuckoo bananas, right? Like that is like very controlling in my opinion. But who am I to say? I don't really know. Like saying you have to kick out your male presenting roommate because they might possibly be female and you might possibly be f***ing them. It's just levels of insecurity. Like it's just deep down, deep levels of insecurity there. Like honestly, I would argue if it was a female roommate, it would be kind of just as bad, right? Like you can't just like suggest that just because she's female that he's gonna be attracted to her and he's gonna cheat on you, you know what I mean? I'm saying that, I'm not having second thoughts. I'm like, well, I wouldn't want my boyfriend to do that, so I don't know. At the end of the day, she's a transphobe. So somebody asked, why didn't you ask Alex about his scars? And he said, I have a few reasons. I personally wouldn't like it if somebody asked me. I like him. I like this guy. He seems woke. He seems lit. A second, my mom has scars all around her body for different reasons and gets livid if you ask her about them. Right. Like that's just so invasive. That is so invasive. I like him. W him. Great choice. You're not the asshole. But now I want to go to part 2 because like I said, there was an update. There was an update to this post. Okay, update. Am I the asshole for not kicking out my roommate just because my girlfriend thinks he's trans? Hey everyone, I'm really sorry it's taken so long to update. I've been focusing on my mental health and keeping up with school, but overall, I'm doing better than I ever have. That is honestly so nice. That is honestly so nice. He says, I've been going to therapy every week, attending a domestic violence support group. Oh my God, I didn't know all that. Domestic violence in there. Yeah, I'm glad you're out of there. He says he's been playing D&D weekly and I've made several new friends through the support group and D&D. He goes, honestly, if it weren't for Alex, I'm not sure I'd have made it this far. He's driven me to therapy, gone to the support group with me even though he didn't need to, got me into D&D and introduced me to his friends who are now also my friends. That is just so cute. That is so cute. That is just so nice. I love trans people. I really do. I love trans freaking people. Wow. You guys should date. You guys should
Hey, yo.
Me like suggesting that you do the thing that she was so paranoid about. I'm just kidding. Just be friends. Unless you don't want to be, it's up to you. Oh my God. And this is the craziest part. This is the craziest part. As for Sarah, who I regret giving that name because one of my new friends has the same name, she's in jail.
What?
What? After my initial post, Sarah tried to show up at my apartment, but because she was on the do not let in list, she wasn't allowed in. Instead, she waited for another resident to open the gate, ducked behind their car, and tried to sneak in. Cuckoo bananas! She was caught immediately, and the landlord called the police to issue her a formal trespass notice. After that, I began the process of getting a PPO. What's that? PPO? Is it like a restraining order? A personal protection order. A personal protection order is a court order to stop threats or violence against you. Oh my God, oh my God, oh my God. A week later, Sarah was arrested on charges unrelated to my apartment. She was arrested for trespassing, resisting without violence, and disorderly conduct. She's currently in jail awaiting her court date. It's likely not going to go well for her since she was already on probation for a second DUI. And one of the conditions of her probation was not to break the law. Yep, that's the classic one. How do I know all this? A mutual friend posted it on his Snap story. More good news. My PPO was approved on Monday. It took long, but whatever, it's finally done. Okay, and then the rest of the post is some very personal stuff that I don't really want to talk about because it's like personal to him. Not that the rest of this wasn't personal, but he like talks about like family issues and stuff, and I don't want to like, you know, put him on blast too hard. But oh my God, the post ends and it says, this Christmas, I'm spending time with Alex and his family, which I guess is now also my family. I'm really thankful for the continued support from all of you, and I'll try to provide more updates going forward. Is this just the most beautiful love story you've ever heard? If this doesn't turn into a beautiful love story, I'm gonna lose it. I'm gonna lose it. I'm gonna lose it. Is he trans? I need to know. I'm turning into the girlfriend. Maybe she was onto something, honestly, because it seems like they have a lot in common. It seems like they're getting really close. She was onto something. She wasn't wrong, but she was arrested. Obviously, my guy Jason, throwaway Jason 7723, not the asshole. Not the asshole at all. And honestly, you're an ally. Am I the a-hole? No, you're the a-lie. Okay, second one. This one is a bit more, you know, focused on the trans person, so brace yourselves. Am I the a-hole for bringing up my 27 female, trans friends, 27 female, dead name after they keep calling me a name I asked them not to? All right, context, we need context. I, 27 female, have known my friend since we were very little. They are male to female trans. My adoptive family and her family lived next door to each other, so we grew up playing together. I was adopted by a white American family who moved my ethnic name to my middle name and gave me another first name because they were afraid I was going to get bullied. As I got older, I realized the name they gave me is not true to myself, and I asked everyone to call me by my ethnic name. This happened around a decade ago as I reconnected with my culture of origin. Okay, so name change, decade ago. That's a lot of time to get with it, right? A lot of time to get with it. But for trans people, I feel like we're a lot less forgiving with that kind of stuff. Like for me, I'm like, I changed my pronouns yesterday. I'm throwing a piece of paper at your head every time you get it wrong today. Like, I mean, I'm just joking. It was kind of more of sort of a joke, but I did really do that. In the beginning, when my dad would mess up my pronouns, we used to have like a little bucket of like paper that we could crumple up and just like throw at his head. Honestly, I kind of wish he would misgender me more so I could get more paper. Anyway, everyone has had no issues with calling me the correct name, except for this one person. Before they came out, it was an issue and persists to this day. I have sat down with her 3 times at this point and explained how much it hurts me and brings up a lot of trauma, and she gives the common excuses of it's too hard to pronounce, and she forgets, but she will make an effort. Fast forward to last night, we were hanging out and she made no effort to call me by my name after being reminded and asked several times. Obviously, I was irritated and I asked, how would you like it if I kept referring to you as Deadname? It brings up trauma for me too. Please stop. She absolutely lost it at me, stormed out of the apartment and refuses to speak to me. Am I the asshole? No. Not the asshole. It sounds like you have a very hypocritical trans friend. Not a fan of her. Not a fan at all. I feel like as trans people, we're obviously very sensitive to the way that we're addressed by other people, whether that be pronouns or our names or whatever it is. If anything, I feel like a trans person should be more understanding of another person trying to use a name that they feel more comfortable with. Like for me, if somebody is changing their name around me, if they were a good ally to me, I'm changing it that second. You'll never catch me making a mistake. Ever. I'm just kidding. Mistakes happen, I guess. They do happen, and that's not the issue here, right? It's like taking 10 years and still making mistakes. That is just evident that you're not making any attempt at all. So no, not the asshole at all. In fact, your friend's an asshole. And honestly, weird. That's just weird. Like I don't understand that. Okay, this one is like a little sad, but like heartwarming at the same time, okay? Am I the a-hole for refusing to dump my trans girlfriend even though my family says I have to? No. You're not. I, 20 male, have been dating Maria, 20 female, a trans woman, for 6 months, and honestly, she's the best thing that's ever happened to me. I'm gonna cry. I'm sorry, this is me getting emotional because I'm like, trans women finding love, that's just so special. She's kind, funny, and ridiculously supportive. She believes in me in a way my family never has. When I'm doubting myself about school or my future, she's the one who lifts me up. She doesn't just say she loves me, she shows it every day. Just your average trans woman. Yeah, we're all like that. So the problem is my family. They're extremely religious and super traditional. When I introduced Maria to them, I thought it went okay, but a few days later, my mom came to me crying, saying she's quote unquote praying for my soul. You won't pray for my soul. Sorry. My dad came in and said I'm living in sin, and my brother, 28 male, straight up called me gay and told me I'm disgusting and embarrassing the family. Yeah, they sound like really supportive, really amazing people to be around. They sound like lovely, lovely, lovely people. A few weeks ago, my parents invited me to what I thought was a regular family dinner, but it turned into an intervention of sorts. They sat me down, handed me a stack of Bible verses, and said Maria was quote unquote unnatural. Okay, well, you got me there. Unnatural. I'm just kidding. Trans people are natural. We are naturally trans. That's how it is. They begged me to break up with her to save my soul. The drama. Like, I just can't take people like this seriously. Like, it's just so dramatic and so ridiculous. I'm sorry. When I told them I wasn't ending things, like, I love that the immediate no. When I told them I wasn't ending things, they gave me an ultimatum. Either dump Maria or they'll cut me off completely. No financial help, no family gatherings, no support. This is huge because I still live at home and depend on them to finish college. So my first immediate reaction was, okay, fine, cut me off. Like, they're not offering you any sort of emotional support. I mean, your family gatherings turned into what? An intervention about how your girlfriend is like unnatural and you're going to hell. It doesn't sound like you're really missing out on those two aspects, but I totally do understand that, like, if you're living under their roof and they're supporting your college, that's a big thing. That's something that you need to, make sure doesn't get taken away. I've been religious my whole life, but I've been questioning things a lot lately. My family's supposed to love me unconditionally, right? But instead, they're turning their backs on me because I love someone they don't approve of. It's crushing and it's making me lose faith, not just in them, but maybe in God too. I'm like getting a little emotional right now. I'm gonna reel it in, but I don't know. I talk a lot about like my side, like the trans woman side of dating, but we never really talk about like what it's like for like a guy to have to deal with these things, like an unsupportive family or unsupportive friends when they're dating a trans woman. That's like really, really difficult, right? That is a big challenge to go through. And I feel like in my own history, I've kind of downplayed that to the men that I've dated. Like, I'm like, okay, well, you can't deal with them. You must not really like me. You must not really like want to be with me that bad if you can't handle your family and you can't handle your friend's judgment, blah, blah, blah. But I feel like in my wise old age, I don't know. I feel like, I don't know, growing up and learning more about how, the different systems that we live under affect men gives me a lot more sympathy for this type of situation. Nobody wants to feel rejected by their family. Nobody wants to feel like they're embarrassing their family. Nobody wants to be judged by their friends. So it's a really hard situation to be in when you do genuinely care about a trans person and like you're up against these other obstacles. It's gotten to the point where this man is like, my family is turning their backs on me because of who I love. He's gotten to the point where he starts to question his religion, like question his identity really. And I feel like it's really important to point out where these dynamics are coming from and where these feelings are coming from. It's not coming from the trans woman, right? It's not coming from the love that you have for that trans woman. It's coming from the patriarchal system that we all live under that dictates who we're supposed to be. And I feel like for so long, people have talked about the ways that the patriarchy impacts women, because it does, and I feel like it does mostly affect women, but it also affects men a lot. I feel like I'm in a very particular circumstance to talk on that because I was raised a boy. I was raised to be a patriarchal man, for lack of a better term. So I know the ways that they get into your head, and I know the ways that they try to push you into a certain type of role. What I see for this man is that he's really starting to, that framework that he's been taught his whole life is like starting to crumble a little bit. He's starting to question it a bit more. He's starting to really like break through that conditioning that he's been through. Maria knows what's going on, and she's been incredible. She told me she'd understood if I needed to break things off, but how could I do that? She's the one person who makes me feel like I'm worth something. I don't want to lose her, but losing my family feels impossible too. My brother keeps texting me awful things, calling me a confused little boy with a fetish, and saying I'm throwing away everything that matters. Part of me wonders if he's right, but the thought of letting Maria go hurts like hell. Anyways, am I the asshole for refusing to give in to my family's demands? No. Not at all. I feel like if you are going to sign up to be a parent, if you're going to bring people onto this earth, you better not be acting like that, okay? That is abusive. That is insane. You cannot say like that to your child. That's insane. Like their kid isn't even trans themselves. Their kid is not even gay themselves. This is about somebody that they're dating, right? It's weird. It's weird. And it shows a level of like possessiveness from the parents and like from the family of like, you need to look good so that we look good. Like, you're weird for that. You're weird for that. I feel like you shouldn't feel that way when you're having kids, right? You should have kids because you want them to grow up and live their own lives and be successful members of society and whatever, you instill your values in them to like treat people kindly and, work hard and whatever values that you want to give them. These are not those values, right? Trans people going to hell is not a value that you teach your kids. God forbid this guy actually one day find out that he's trans himself, right? And now he's had all this conditioning from his parents telling him that it's sinful and horrible and he's embarrassing the family for just dating a trans person. What's it going to be like if he himself was trans or if he himself were gay? That's like a lot. Parents, just please be careful with the way that you are talking to your kids. I'm rambling so hard, but this is like why I'm afraid to have kids, because I don't want to mess them up like this. Like that's just crazy. Okay, next up. Am I the asshole for breaking up with my trans girlfriend because I want biological kids? Yeah. No, I'm just kidding. I'm kidding. Let's read, because this can go many ways. I, 17 female, recently broke up with my girlfriend, also 17 female. Ever since I was really young, I've always loved the idea of having a really big, happy family with lots of my own children. When I was 14, I met my girlfriend E, who was at the time non-binary. This was okay with me. Wait a second. You are breaking up with somebody because you want biological kids, but you were in a lesbian relationship? When I was 14, I met my girlfriend E, who was at the time non-binary. This was okay with me as I am bisexual, but pretty chill around it. People are just people either way. A few months into our relationship, she decided she would like to transition to female. Oh, okay. Okay, I'm understanding now. They're male to female. A few months into our relationship, she decided that she would like to transition to female and male to female, but like was non-binary. You know what I mean? Okay. A few months into our relationship, she decided that she would like to transition to female, and I was okay and supportive of this. It isn't a situation that I ever seen myself kind of getting into, but I was into her, and so I was willing to make it work between us because I like girls anyway, so it wasn't too big of a deal. That is so sweet of you. That is so sweet. I love that. The issues started to show themselves pretty early on. Every time I was on my period, she would get really jealous and tell me that I didn't deserve to have periods and that she would be better off with them. What? I've always had a fear of intense pain, as most people do, I assume. So the idea of being pregnant is obviously pretty scary. And after I disclosed this to E, she started trying to convince me that I never needed to be pregnant and that we could probably undergo an operation where she could have my womb and carry babies instead. She got really mad when I told her I wasn't comfortable with this. Well, I'm a little uncomfortable. I mean, I get it. I know that they do like womb transplants for cisgender women. I don't know if they've ever successfully done one for a trans woman. Maybe in the distant future they would, but to like already come out and be like, okay, I'll take your womb. I'll take your womb and I'll be pregnant for you. That's crazy. Crazy. Weird. This carried on for literal years of this conversation going around and around. Eventually it got to the point where I figured we would just never get to an agreement over it, and so I just dropped it. It took a lot of conversations with my dad to realize actually all I was doing at that point was prolonging the pain, and we clearly had a lot of different ideals and directions where we wanted to go in life. For example, I'm big on being proactive and getting what I want through working for it, and she was set on being a housewife. Okay, or even just the fact that she didn't want me to ever have a car and just said I could use public transportation to get wherever I needed to go. I guess there were a lot of reasons I ended up breaking up with her, but she seems fixated on the children issue and has told me I'm transphobic. And if I wasn't transphobic, I would have supported her in every single thing that she was planning. So I think that the original poster is definitely right that there were a lot of issues that dictated that this needed to happen, that this ending needed to happen. The trans person honestly seemed very controlling, and I mean, not letting your partner have a car, but then also insisting that they have to be the one that works to like make money for you to be a housewife. And like, I don't know if she said she has to, but like the womb thing, and like you need to give the womb, like it's just a lot. I think that breaking up was the best idea. I don't think that the poster was an asshole, but honestly, as crazy as this trans person was, I'm hesitant to call her the asshole either, because it just reads to me as like a lot of trauma. Like when you read the ending of it, it says, I guess there were a lot of reasons I ended up breaking up with her, but she seems fixated on the children issue and has told me I'm transphobic. And if I wasn't transphobic, I would have supported her in every single thing that she was planning. Right, like this, like honing in on the trans aspects of her identity and like demanding that that must be the reason screams trauma to me, because I've been there in my life. You know what I mean? Like there are people that in my life that have like broken up with me for certain reasons, and all I could think was, oh, it's because I'm trans. It's because I'm trans and they don't want to be with a trans person. Duh. When they're like, no, that's not at all the reason. So I do understand that. I think that it's, you know, it's that core wound of like not being enough because we're trans, right? It's trauma. But at the same time, you can't be controlling to your partners. You gotta act right. She says, I never should have broken up with her and is blowing up my phone constantly, guilt tripping me into getting back with her. I never thought I was transphobic, but she's saying that I am. Am I the asshole? I don't think you're transphobic. I don't think you're the asshole. And I think that Miss Girl needs some freaking help. I think she does. I don't want to say anything bad about her. I just feel for her. You know, being trans is so freaking difficult, especially in romantic relationships. And you know, a lot of times it comes with a lot of trauma that we have from our childhoods, from, you know, just life. And those traumas can really affect how we act in relationships and how we act, especially in romantic relationships. You guys both should go on your own separate ways. She has some healing to do. You have, you know, your own life to live. And yeah, nobody here is the asshole. That's my verdict. Okay, this one. Am I the asshole telling my trans friend she needs to disclose that she's trans to a man she's seeing? Okay. This is a hot topic. I have a friend, known her for years, since we were young, and she was pre-transition. We're older now, she's had a lot of work done and been on hormones since she was a teen. If you met her, I can honestly tell you, you'd never guess she was trans. However, she does still currently have a penis. She tends to go with men who are fully aware that she is trans. She had that she was trans on her dating profile. She's moved away now. We still talk. She eventually told me she met a guy around 2 months ago. They're dating. She then went on to tell me that she met him on a new dating site that she was trying out, and I thought nothing of it. The next day she messaged me and we were talking more about him, and then she told me some things, including that he has no idea that she's trans. She didn't disclose it on this new dating profile, and she just hasn't told him. I asked her why, and also said, surely you've slept together, no? And she said no, and that he's being patient on sex. She's making him wait, but just to keep him sweet, she's done certain jobs for him. And then I just outright said, you need to tell him. And she said, I will, but I want him to fall for me a little more first. Yikes. Okay, another situation where like I understand where the trans person is coming from. It's so difficult to be rejected for being trans, especially if you like somebody and like it's going well or whatever. It's like, it's hard to tell them sometimes, you know, but I am of the belief that if you're going to be sexual with somebody, you need to tell them that you're trans. You need to. Now, I'm not really sure how I feel about like the moral obligation to it, but I do think that for your safety, you need to be telling people that you're sexually intimate with, that you are trans. It's so dangerous. It is so dangerous. Many trans women have died because of this exact situation, right? Where, you know, they had sex with a man or they were sexually intimate with a man that didn't know that they were trans. Then they found out somehow and the man gets violent and hurts them. Obviously, I'm not saying that that is okay. Violence should never be the answer. Obviously, that was f***ed up and they should be punished for it. But we also need to look out for our own safety, right? We need to be aware that this is the way that the world is. People are violent towards trans people. We need to protect ourselves, especially when you're dating and you're pre-op and like you're expecting that this is going to keep progressing on and on. Like, I don't understand what the end goal of this is, right? Like giving him a special job one day and then you say, okay, my turn. Like, how do you bring this up? How do you bring this up? Personally, for me, I find that like after the first date is like the best time to tell somebody that you're trans because, you know, there's a lot of like preconceived notions about what a trans person is and like what it's like to be trans and whatever. So I like to like meet somebody in real life. First of all, establish that I want to like continue talking to them, establish that they're like a safe person to know my history, my gender, and like allow them to get to know me a little bit, which I think is like kind of what this trans person is hinting at. Like she says she wants him to fall for her a little bit more first, but like that's just like a little too much. It's like a bit too far, girl. I don't know. This is a tough one for me because I do think that, you know, nobody's entitled to know our business. Nobody's entitled to know my trans history, my medical history, especially within like a week or two of knowing them. You need to tell them before it gets sexual. Like you need to tell them for your own safety. No, the poster is not the asshole for giving that advice. Honestly, that's a good friend for giving that advice. And really, I don't think the amount of time that you get to know somebody has that much of a bearing on whether or not they're going to accept you. Like I said, like I feel like a date, maybe 2 dates is like a good mark. They've seen you in person. They've seen how you interact with the world. They've seen like, you know, they've gotten to know you a bit, and things at that stage are still very innocent. So, you know, you avoid all of that gray area. Girls out there, please be safe. Please be safe. It's a dangerous game that y'all are playing. Okay, next step. This trans person is not the asshole this time. I don't even think they're in the post. Am I the asshole for not wanting to room with a trans person? I got a 4-bedroom off-campus housing and didn't have enough roommates, so I put in a request to find 3 more roommates who were in the area and it was in their price range. The school found 3 other people and naturally I looked them up to see who they were, and one of them was a trans girl. Dun dun dun! I'm a female, by the way. I didn't really think about it because on the request I put female roommates. I messaged the school about it and they apologized, removed her, and found another roommate. I don't have any problem with any LGBTQ person and believe trans women are real women, but I just wouldn't be comfortable in this situation. Am I the asshole? Yeah, you're the asshole. You are the asshole, babe. Like what? Imagine in this climate where trans women finding housing is already an issue. You kick somebody out of their college residency. The ending of this kills me though. I believe trans women are real women, but I just wouldn't be comfortable. Why? If you believe that we're real women, why are you uncomfortable with us being in your space? I don't understand. Do you maybe think that we're a threat? Do you think that you're like not as safe with a trans person around? Do we make you uncomfortable? Because those are all things that you should be dealing with internally. You should not be taking them out on a trans student looking for somewhere to live. Bonkers. Bonkers. I'd say not the asshole because you have a right to live with whoever you want. Not the asshole, you deserve to be comfortable and so does she. So it's definitely best you requested somebody else instead of going through with the arrangement. I mean, that's fair. At least this trans person will find, hopefully, a better resident to, you know, live with. Somebody that is not like, I love trans women. Trans women are real women, but you guys just make me a little uncomfortable. Like, can you just use the men's room, please? This person said, I'm 69 years old. In my early 20s, the big insurance company where I worked hired a trans woman. She was out and upfront and a kick. My circle regularly invited her on our girls' night out, charming, smart, and fun. She used the ladies' room and somebody put a handwritten sign on the door that said, and things. Management came down on that like a ton of bricks, promising to fire anyone who wouldn't sit down and shut up. Here we are, 45 years later, not having learned a mother thing, it seems like. Darling, if this old boomer can be accepting, you're the asshole. Come on, Klutz. That was her name on Reddit. Oh my God, I love that. She said, yeah, you're the asshole. Of course you are. I lived in a girls' dorm my freshman year of college. I mean, I lived in a girls' dorm my entire college career, but my freshman year, I was in something called a cluster, which was like, I had a room and then there was another room of like 2 girls, another room of 2 girls, and we all shared one bathroom. And then on the other side of the bathroom, there was like 2 girls, 1 girl. I was in a single room, always. So maybe that's like the difference here. I don't know what the rooming situations would have been. If it was a single room, you're bonkers. But yeah, I remember like I was like just in the beginning stages of my transition. Like I probably was not the most passable girl out there. And I just remember my cluster mates being so accepting and so supportive of me, and, you know, would always invite me to hang out with them, and they would always, you know, include me in things, and it was never an issue. So if they could do that with me being like, literally, I'm not even kidding, like 2 months into my transition, then you can too, asshole. Okay, next up. Am I the asshole for ghosting a trans person because of sexual incompatibility? Right away, yes. So I, 30 male, matched with this person, 31 on Bumble. I like how they don't put the gender for them. They said, I don't know what the you are. Sorry. We started chatting, and a few days in, they let me know they're trans. I figure, why not be open-minded? So I went with it, and we agreed to meet up. Oh, slay. That is so open-minded of you. The date went way better than expected. We had a ton in common. They're both nerdy and sporty like me, which is usually a hard combo to find. Like, we'd go from talking manga to getting excited about sports. It was honestly pretty refreshing. Oh, that's so nice. I love that. I love that. Okay. After a few more dates, they invited me over and things got physical. But when it came down to it, I realized I just wasn't comfortable going further. The reality of the situation hit me when I saw they had a penis and that we'd be working with options that just aren't for me. It was a compatibility issue that I just couldn't get past. That's tough. That's tough. Let's keep reading. In the moment, I panicked and just left. They've been texting me a lot since then, trying to reach out, but I haven't responded. I feel really bad about the whole situation, honestly super conflicted. I keep thinking maybe I should explain, but I also worry that my reasons would come off as offensive or even transphobic. I never intended to hurt them, and I don't know if my discomfort is justified or if I'm just running from it. Am I the asshole for handling it this way? Yes, you are the asshole for handling it this way, and I'll tell you why. You don't ghost somebody after a sexual experience. Point blank, period. What the is wrong with you? I'm sorry, I'm being so aggressive, but rule 101, you don't ghost people after you have a sexual interaction with them. Am I right? Am I right? Am I wrong? Am I the asshole? A sexual incompatibility, that's that. You know what I mean? If you're sexually incompatible, you're sexually incompatible. It doesn't matter if they're trans, two cis people, whatever. Sometimes people just aren't compatible sexually, and that's totally fine. That's totally fine. But the leaving in the middle of it and the ghosting after like several days of them reaching out to you when they're clearly in a very like upset state is really mean, is an asshole move. Like honestly, anything, well, maybe not anything, but there are so many better options to handling this than just straight up ghosting the person. You don't have to just ghost the person. Just say, sorry, we had a sexual incompatibility. I'm sorry for not reaching out sooner, and hopefully we can be friends, or whatever you want to say. I don't know, but just like let them know, like just communicate. This person, the first comment, you need to send them this text. Sorry, I've not been in touch. I should not have ghosted you. I don't think we are sexually compatible, and I couldn't think of a way to say it. I was worried I might hurt you. Then I realized ghosting you was also a shit thing to do. I'm sorry about that. I'm not really interested in taking things further. I wanted to think about that for a while too. Period. That's literally perfect. That is literally perfect. Perfect. That's all you have to say. It might be hurtful to them. It might be like offensive to them. Maybe they'll call you a transphobe, whatever, but that is the nicest way that you could handle it, right? That's what you should do if you have this experience. Trans girls, if this experience happens to you, don't take it to heart. You're not gonna be compatible with everybody either. Sometimes the person that you're with is not gonna be a match for you. It's not always gonna be on us that we're like the incompatibility. So just take it as a grain of salt and just, you know, find somebody else. You know, just take it, hear it, you know, and just move on. It doesn't have to be a big thing, you know? But yes, you are the asshole for ghosting. Absolutely, absolutely. I hate a ghoster. Okay, everybody, this is the last one. This is the last one. I'm pretty sure that this one's an asshole because they say, am I the asshole for asking my trans sister to define what a woman is during a family gathering? Not the, what's a woman? Can you define a woman? So our family got together for dinner. We came to visit since my mom's health has been deteriorating lately. Oh my God, I'm so sorry. Of course, my trans sister, male to female, who I'll call Jen, was there. Our relationship is quite complicated. I used to be close to Jen when she was a man. Right off the bat, I can tell this man has no idea the trans lingo, the trans anything. He does not give a shit about his sister. Once she decided to be trans, I started distancing myself from her. Literally immediately, you're an asshole. In my opinion, anyone can feel free to identify as anything, but they shouldn't expect other people to absolutely respect them. Your sister? You're talking about your sister? What a freak. She started getting mad when I would refer to her as he, even if it was completely accidental. I mean, if you're saying shit like that, to me, I would not interpret it as an accident. Like, I feel like that's the issue. Anyways, this led us to get into disagreements since I told her that she couldn't expect the world to know to call her a she. I called her entitled and she called me transphobic. Anyways, we were having dinner when my mom accidentally referred to Jen as a he. The thing is, my mother has been sick for a while, so she is more likely to make these types of mistakes. Anyways, she got pissed and was like, no, mom, I'm a she. Okay, corrected her pronoun, that's fine. She started talking about how marginalized trans people are in society, and I got tired of it. Okay, I agree that having discussions and stuff is important, but I believe that there's a time and place for everything. You just think the time and place is not when you're there. You just don't want to hear it. Be for real. My mom soon excused herself to go eat her medicine. I was about to follow her to help when Jen made a very annoying comment about how cis women are so entitled. Okay, call me transphobic and whatnot, but I don't like how she judged our mother, so I made a comment that she is kind of spouting nonsense. Okay, yeah, the cis woman comment is crazy. That is kind of nonsense. I said something like, okay, being trans makes you face challenges, but literally you aren't being persecuted anymore. Chill out. When was this posted? 7 months ago? You mean January of 2025? What an idiot. He was an idiot. Chill out. She just used the wrong pronouns. It's not like you're gonna die if she does. I went a bit far and said something along the lines of, if you're so not confident in your own identity that someone calling you the wrong pronoun makes you feel insecure, maybe you aren't confident in your own gender identity. Ooh, that is kind of tea. It's one thing to be like, I would prefer these pronouns and then like draw a boundary if they don't, you know what I mean? But it's another thing to like lash out at people every single time. Then it's like, why is it triggering so much anger in you? I mean, that's a silly question. I can understand why it would trigger so much anger in somebody, but at the same time, you need to be so confident in your identity that like I was on my Twitch stream the other day and somebody came in and said, "You're a man?" And I was like, "Yeah, I'm a man. What's up? What's up? What's up?" Because like, babe, you can call me whatever you want. You know what I mean? Call me whatever you want. Use whatever pronouns you want for me. I know who I am. I know my identity. I know the way I look. Like, I'm perfectly fine with that. So yeah, I know that that is obviously not the norm, but I feel like that's what we should strive for, right? And what they should strive for is not being assholes and just using our pronouns first time. Thank you. Jen said something like, saying the correct pronoun is basic respect. That's true. And I told her that she assumed the gender of people too. I brought up examples of how she says, "Thank you, sir, ma'am," to waiters at restaurants, and told her that if you don't dress, look, or sound like the gender you want to, and other people say the wrong pronoun because of that, doesn't that mean you are lacking? Well, yes. If somebody makes a mistake, they make a mistake, that's fine. We're not talking about mistakes here. We're talking about intentional misgendering, right? I mean, I'm pretty sure her mom knew what her business was. Her brother knew what her business was. I mean, maybe I would give some more slack to her mom because she's sick or whatever, but you know, this caused her to spiral. I love when they say that trans women are spiraling because I bet she was not spiraling at all. He was just like, she like got a little toot and she started spiraling out. Like she was just talking. This caused her to spiral and we started going back and forth. At some point, I asked her to define what she meant by identifying as a woman. Since that was the root cause of this whole argument, she got kind of cocky and said she prepared for this and explained that being a woman is about identifying with societal expectations of women. I hate that question. You know this man watches Matt Walsh and Daily Wire and all those kinds. What is a woman? Can you tell me what a woman is? Like, sir, didn't you buy their documentary on DVD? I'm sure you've seen it multiple times. You should know by now. It's just such like a stupid. Ignoring the fact that she literally used the term to define those. Basic transphobic man, I swear. Ignoring the fact that she literally used the term to define the word, I asked her questions like, well, if I wear pants where historically were for men, does that make me less of a woman? Or if I, wait, is this a girl? The name is Wise Guy. Of course it's Wise Guy too. It's the most telling thing ever. I remember looking at her and laughing. Oh, I forgot. You don't have children. Isn't the societal expectation of women to be housewives? Then what are you? Oh. I continued saying how she literally doesn't match her own description of what being a woman is. Yeah, you guys, you have to not engage when people ask these questions. Like, well, what is a woman? Because they're never going to accept an answer that you give. The question is literally just designed to piss you off. It's designed to like get you to say something and so they can invalidate you more. Get you to say something else so they can invalidate you even more. It's a losing question. You don't answer this question. If you do want to give a response when somebody says, well, what is a woman? Say, you can Google what a woman is, but I don't think that has anything to do with me living an identity that makes me happy. You know what I mean? Just bring it back to the fact that this is what makes us happy. Living this way, whatever you want to say, however you want to call it, however you want to describe it, is what makes us happy, what makes us feel the most comfortable. Because if they have an issue with that, it's just obvious that they just don't like trans people. She got pissed, started yelling that I was just being dismissive and trying to invalidate her experience, which you were. My point wasn't to invalidate her. Yes, it was. I'll clear that up. I just want to show her that her definition of being a woman, which sucked by the way, was quite dumb. Anyway, things got awkward and she ended up leaving early. My mother came down and told me that while she agreed with me that my sister was mentally weak. I mean, that was quite obvious since she felt so hurt by someone using the wrong pronouns, but anyway, my parents think I should apologize to my sister. I mean, I don't feel like being mentally weak is a bad thing necessarily. I feel like it just shows that like, yeah, being trans is a hard thing to go through, right? Maybe we're more sensitive. God forbid we be more sensitive people in a world that hates us. Surprise. Like, not to say that she was being mentally weak or that we are mentally weak. I'm just saying that even if we were, could you blame us? Like, It's a lot to handle, but I don't see what I said that was even wrong. I was harsh, but I just corrected her false ideologies. Her spewing stuff like that is undermining females as a whole. Anyways, in this situation, am I the asshole? Yeah, you're a freaking TERF. You are an asshole, you're a TERF, you're a bad sister. Some freaking TERF went onto the Reddit and was like, ooh, I have a good real life situation to put in there. They just made it up. I mean, it would just make so much sense. They have the define what a woman is, and she uses the word ideology when referring to trans people. It's very obvious that this is coming from somebody who is deeply, deeply in the anti-trans spheres. I genuinely just feel bad for this sister. So yes, you are the asshole. Easy peasy. An easy one to end with, huh? Oh my God, you guys. Okay. That was fun, interesting. Which one was your favorite? I hope you guys are playing along down below. These videos are a lot of fun for me to make. I love doing these little reaction type things. So if you guys want me to do more of them, or if there's another subreddit that you would want me to react to, leave it down below. But other than that, I think I'm gonna go. So make sure to subscribe if you are not already and you would like to be. And I'll see you in the next one. Bye everyone. Don't forget to follow me on Twitch. Love you.